All right, guys, welcome back. Episode 12.
All right.
Welcome, everybody. That young man on the screen there is Jacob the Bull Brown. He's gonna be hanging out with us a little bit today. So, first of all, first show of 2020.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. I told everybody I was going to be getting married. I actually went through with it, so
Congratulations.
newlywed.
Yay.
Let's go around the room real quick and introduce ourselves because we want to talk to Jacob. So we'll do our housekeeping later on in the show. So Milton Campus, purple belt, fight sports, Coral Springs. And we have Andres back with us. Go ahead.
Andres Leon, black belt under Fight Sports Coral Springs, and Felipe and Sofia Armarante.
Janet just got my purple belt.
Yay!
All right.
At Fight Sports Coral Springs with Felipe
right.
and Sophia.
Yeah.
Very cool. And again, on the screen here, today's guest, we have Jacob the Bull Brown.
Hey,
guys. I've been, believe it or not, I've followed you on Instagram for a while and I knew who you were. And your dad reached out to me right around the time that we started the podcast, probably, I think maybe after episode 2. So it was really cool that he reached out. And you've been in the back of my mind to have you on. And one of the things was we wanted to get our Skype system down in the studio, which we had a little bit of trouble here with before we got started. But hopefully everything will be cool and Jacob can hear us. Real quick, Jacob. So, I spoke to your dad and, he kind of told me your story and there were so many questions that I came up with. So I just want to kind of tell you how we interact with our listeners, just to kind of give you a little bit of some insight. And some of the questions are actually from our listeners for you directly. Okay. So typically, we love to give stuff away. So we give away T-shirts from sponsors, CBD, anything that we can get our hands on. We are not worried about getting money from our sponsors, at least not right now. It's about getting product and giving our listeners some cool stuff. So number one, anybody watching this YouTube video when we put it out, if they like, comment, and subscribe, we give them a $50 coupon code to the jiujitsudummies.shop website, which is our podcast store. So that's number one. We always give away Fightback CBD, who is our main sponsor. They give us 2 bottles of CBD to give away to our listeners. And again, if they get a bottle of CBD, they also get a T-shirt from Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. And then we also have Bare Bones Recovery Gel, which is on the table there. We've got one more Bare Bone Recovery Gel tin to give away, and they also get a Jiu-Jitsu Dummies T-shirt. So now that's out of the way, again, thank you for being with us, Jacob. I appreciate it. You've been super, super patient. Thank you so much. So I'm going to start throwing some questions at you, we'll go around the room. We've got a bunch of stuff that we want to ask you. And again, we'll end with some listener questions for you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us how you got started in Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts.
Well, my mom's sister, she was a cop, and I started training with her, and, they started having me train in Jiu-Jitsu. They told me about it, and then I did at her academy, and then I was like a little kid, and my dad told me, maybe we should start doing this more and more, and I got interested in it. I was like, yeah, I like this sport, Jiu-Jitsu, and then it was like, let's keep doing it, and then I was only like 6 years old, and I told my dad, I really like it, I want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And, we just kept going on from there. And I started competing more and more. In my first tournament, I got second place. And I was somebody that I loved it, wanted to keep doing it.
Okay. And I think your dad mentioned, you mentioned your aunt, your dad mentioned the Newark PD, the police department. Did she work with the police department? Or was she a cop?
Yes,
so,
she is.
Okay, so that brought you in. And then also, you didn't just train jiu-jitsu in the beginning, right?
I trained MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, Carnicel MMA. I trained that.
Okay, and you do some judo as well. I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand with jiu-jitsu most of the time.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Now this is the crazy part with people aren't going to know. I mean, you lived in New York, or what you guys were in New York when this was all happening, and you guys moved
Yes.
to
Yeah,
California,
all in
right?
New York. Yes. In New Jersey, I trained in New Jersey.
Okay, and now you guys moved to California, and was that specifically to train with the Mendes brothers? Tell us a little bit about how that all happened, if you can.
Yeah, we came to California, so to start off my career, have something to do with it. So we went to the Mendes Brothers Academy, Art Jiu-Jitsu, and they helped a lot. They do a lot of good for students. So
Okay.
we thought training there would be like my best benefit.
Okay.
It would just make my career just go up there. They're like the best academy, so we wanted to train there.
So did you meet, how did it happen? Did you meet them? Did you just know of them? Did you guys go out there just like without knowing them, or did was it planned?
No, we just went out there without knowing, and then we heard the Mendes Bros.
Okay.
And then we went to the academy. We checked them out. We knew about them, but we never when we went to California. Somebody told us, "Hey, you should train here." At Art Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, we'll try it out." And then we started trying it out, and I loved it there. My parents said, "You want to stay here?" And I was like, "Of course." I like it here a lot.
Okay.
I thought it was amazing.
All right, I'm going to toss it over to Andres, who's got a question for you.
So, what is it like working in such an advanced, and high class gym like that one? What is it like working with them and all the people there?
Yeah, I mean, those guys. I mean, the Mendes brothers. For those who don't know them, I mean, these guys are world famous. These guys, they're studs. I mean, in our world,
they're heroes in the community with that sense.
Yeah, what's it like training with those guys?
It's hard. It's exciting though.
Yeah.
I love to do it. It's definitely exciting to do. It's very inspiring. Definitely train at the academy. The Mendes Bros, they're really amazing. So they always keep me going. Just to keep training jiu-jitsu, keep going hard. I train 3 hours a day every day.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's a day like when you train over there? Do you train, 4, 5, 6 times a day, or 6 times a week? I'm sorry, or how does the day go for you?
Yeah. How do you break up your training? You said 3 hours a day, but is it like 3 hours a day of jiu-jitsu, or are you doing going to do cardio? You lifting weights? Kind of give us a day in the life of Jacob the Bull.
Well, every day, I wake up in the morning. I do 2 classes every morning. Then I do 1 class at night. So it's three classes a day, which is every morning. There's comp class and the fundamental class, which is every morning. And then night training, which is I do 2 times out of the week. And then every morning I train 2 classes.
Okay.
So 9 to 11 a.m.
And is it gi, no gi, a little bit of both?
I do no gi at night training out of 2 days out of the week, and then gi every morning.
And what do you prefer?
Yeah, what Janet wants to know what you prefer. Are you more of a gi guy, no gi, or either or? It doesn't matter.
I like both a lot. I do more of both.
Yeah.
So that would be it would be a hard decision. I like both of them a lot.
Okay. Now that leads me to, I know that you've got some recent titles. I'll let you talk about it. Your father started to tell me a little bit about your IBJJF title, but currently you are. Go ahead. Tell us your official titles that you've won.
A no-gi world champion and a gi world champion.
Okay.
I just won worlds a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
A month ago.
Okay.
But yeah, I won no-gi SJIF, and I took first and second place. First place of the year.
Okay. Wow. And what's in store? What's coming next? What's your next event? Because I think you're again. Your dad told me you're training for a tournament next week, right?
Yeah, I got one tomorrow actually.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow's gonna be the World League.
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu World League, yeah.
Ah, all right. Very cool. Very
Good
cool.
luck.
And is that gi or no gi?
I think it's gonna be gi. Yeah, it's gi.
Okay. Very cool. Janet, you want to hit him with question number 6 there?
What was that?
I'm
I have
telling
a question
Janet.
for you, but before we move
Okay.
to that
Go
question,
ahead,
let me
cool.
ask you, what belt are you?
What was that?
What belt are you?
Oh, blue belt.
Okay, so for your titles, is that under juvenile or is that adult?
That goes on the juvenile. Yes.
All
Did,
right.
did you have those titles before you got your blue belt? Because right, you typically right, and I'm sure it's like this out there. You hit 16, and then you're able to get your blue belt, correct? Or did you get those two titles
Yes.
at blue belt or already?
No.
Okay, that was before. Those were before blue belt.
No.
Wait.
After.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Not trying to take anything away from you. It's impressive either way.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
now you can
Yeah.
fight as an adult, or are you still considered juvenile?
No, I'm still considered juvenile now, but next year, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Good deal. Okay, so I got another question for you. Tell us a little bit about how your parents are involved with your training. Like, how do you get back and forth? Are you
Well,
driving yet? Can you take yourself? Does somebody have to take you? How's that work out?
well, usually, like, I let them know, like, and they usually understand, like, they lean back a little bit more and more so I could, I start learning on my own, but they always take me, like, they take me to my competitions, they always support me, they take me everywhere to all my tournaments, they're always there for me, they're always supportive for me, but, like, when I have moments where they lean back, I do me, I go train out there, I go, like, my competition class, WB, or, if there's just that week where I just train hard, I'm impressive with my team, then then they lean back and I let them know. But my dad always promotes me, and they do everything for me. They're very supportive.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So that kind of leads me to, okay, you have a hard week of jiu-jitsu. What do you do outside of jiu-jitsu, if anything? Hobbies, interests. Is there anything else in your life besides jiu-jitsu, or is it all about jiu-jitsu like most of us?
I play games sometimes. I just chill.
Yeah.
Just start playing games or just chill in the house. Maybe go outside, hang out with some friends, or that's pretty much it.
Do you have any close
I-
friends that you've met in jiu-jitsu? Like, for all of, I mean, I've met all these guys here in jiu-jitsu. Are you like us?
Yeah.
Most of the people that you interact with and your friends are all people from jiu-jitsu and from your school?
Yeah, all my friends are from Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Like I forgot about all of them. Yeah.
And you're kind of like our coach, homeschools his son. We're all coached by Felipe Amarante and Sofia Amarante at Fight Sports in Coral Springs, Florida. They homeschool their son. I understand you're in a similar situation, right? You're homeschooled, right?
Yeah, I am homeschooled.
So it's homeschool, and then you're hanging out with the guys in the gym.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you have the tournament coming up next week. Have you ever done, or do you have planned to like do super fights? Do you get approached by tournament promoters that want to throw you in with somebody at your age and your level? Does that happen for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Have you done any like notable organizations? Have you fought in any notable organizations outside of IBJJF?
Fight to win. Yeah.
Oh, you did Fight to Win. Our coach did Fight to Win. Yeah, they travel. How'd you do?
What was that?
How'd you do? Did you win?
No, my first one I lost by an ankle lock.
Ah, really? Really? You did? Oh, wow.
Ankle lock? Wow. At blue belt. Was this before your blue belt?
No, I was a blue belt at the time.
You were already a blue
Still
belt, but even still, I think.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times people are surprised when kids are doing anything below the waist, besides just like a straight ankle lock. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
We're all folks here. So the problem is that we haven't grown up with the whole idea of fighting below the belt. We always target our upper body.
Yeah.
So the young ones now are targeting everything. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not fighting you.
do you guys at AOJ? Do you guys I mean, are you training? All type of leg locks. Is that something is it daily, or do they keep the younger guys away from that stuff?
No, yeah, we train with it. Like we train doing ankle locks and all that. We definitely practice for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about like knee bars and heel hooks? I mean, again, you're learning everything, or
Those we can't do. No.
Okay.
Not the bars and yeah.
So let me go back to Guy and I don't know if you call him Professor Guy, Professor Rafa. How do you address your coaches? Okay. Do you actually get to train with them? I mean, are they? They've got their things going on. They've got their events. I'm sure they train for things. I mean, are they the guys that you actually train with on a daily basis when you're in the gym?
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
all the time.
you
That's
you
awesome.
smile. You kind of smiled when I said that. I mean, that's to us. That's impressive. I mean, sometimes it's like the brown belts coaching, which is take nothing away from a lower belt, but I'm impressed
Yeah,
that those are the guys that you're learning from. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fantastic.
it's awesome.
Yeah,
So
but at this point they're just friends, so it's
yeah,
no probably no big deal for
right,
you.
Right.
right. Do you ever get to go hang out with them outside? I mean, they're obviously older with families, but I mean, do they take you guys out? Do you guys ever do anything? At competitions, after competitions?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, we eat sometimes. Like, we go out together as a team and all that. We do all of that. Especially after we compete and stuff.
Yeah.
We always have a great time after the tournament. You know,
Any
Like
plans to
family.
be
they're cool guys.
any plans to be back here in Florida? Because we definitely want to have you in the studio when you're down here, if and when you're down in South Florida. So, any plans to travel just at all with the family or for jiu-jitsu? Any tournaments down here?
Yes, of course. We will. Get that when it comes. Later this year, definitely for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I already told you, Dad. Let me know when you guys are down here. We'd love to have you in the studio. We're going to be moving anyway, so we'll be in a bigger space, and we're hoping to have a mat, and at least for the video side. We have the sound that goes out on the podcast, and then we have the video obviously on YouTube. So we'll do some type of like extended cut for YouTube where we'll actually like get into some moves and really get onto the mat and just give them an extra 10, 15 minutes of the show. So. All right, so we've got a couple of listener questions. We've got 2 listener questions, and if I'm not mistaken, I think both of these guys they're younger guys. I'd have to look them up. We'll mention their names, but I'll let Andres take the first one there from Kimura God.
Yeah. So first one is from Kimura God BJJ, and his question is, who is your biggest inspiration for training jiu-jitsu and everything?
I would say, of course, the Mendes Brothers because the minute I started training at the academy, it just made me want to keep just like grinding even more, work even harder. They're really my biggest inspiration to keep doing what I'm doing. Jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
It's just everything they accomplished was just so amazing. It's just I loved all of it.
Yeah,
I
you're
loved
hooked.
it so much.
That's great. Janet, you want to take the next one from Damien?
This is from Damien the Stud.
These are great names. We got
I love
Kimura God BJJ, and Damien the Stud. Both listeners, I know that I interact with them on Instagram a lot. So go ahead, take it away, Damien the Stud.
All right, it says, are there any opponents outside of your division, whether up or down a division, that you would like to face that you've never competed against?
This is your UFC moment to call somebody out.
Well, I wouldn't like go for anybody, but if I was to fight anyone, I would take the fight. Of course, like I would fight anyone. If I would end up in that division, or if they were in my division, I would take the fight. If it was anybody.
No names. Anybody that's that we may not know that like, hey, I'd love to fight that guy, or a champ in another division. No names. Nobody specific.
No, not somebody specific, but I would take anybody. Yeah.
All right, we're not going to break any news here today, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get into I call this our speed round. But before we do that, why don't we let you shout out your sponsors? I see obviously you've got Moya, a Moya brand shirt on. I know.
Yes.
Go ahead, take it away. Shout out your sponsors. Let them know that where your fellow jiu-jitsu competitors should be.
Yeah, I would like to shout out my sponsors, OC Chiropractor, OC Chiropractor, Maury Brand Geek Company, of course, and Crane Massage Therapy. And, of course, I would like to thank my Mendes Brothers and my team. They've done a lot for me. I appreciate them all. And, yeah.
All right, man. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so we're going to go through
And thank
our
you guys.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Sure.
So we're gonna leave number 4 for the very end. Usually, number 4, and you'll get it. You'll get this in a second, Jacob. But usually, Junior pops this question out to somebody at some point. But okay, I'm gonna start with number 1. If you could go back in time, what would you tell the white belt you? Like the moment before you stepped on the mat, what would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself before I stepped on the mat? Relax.
Okay.
Stay calm. Like I got it. I believe in myself. I want to do it. You know, I have it.
Good. All
I'll
right.
be okay.
Okay. Number two,
So
Andres.
number two, what is your ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu, other than achieving, the rank of black belt?
What was that? Sorry.
What's your ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu besides becoming a black belt? What's your ultimate goal? Like, where do you want to be, let's just say 10, 20, 30 years as it relates to jiu-jitsu?
Well, I want to make my own academy.
All right.
Maybe after doing that, keep winning. Eventually, do movies. Try to get into movies.
Okay.
Also come my way.
Okay.
Start doing something different.
I think I saw you doing some modeling a little while back, right? Outside of the jiu-jitsu brands, right? I know I saw a photo shoot back there somewhere in your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something you like? Is that something you're going to continue to do?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. Janet, number three.
Tell us the most craziest jiu-jitsu related story. Something that happened to you, like on the mats while training, whatever.
Well, like, probably like, what do you mean by that?
Like when we've asked that question, some people will say maybe it was a crazy injury, an injury like Andres just walked in with a broken finger. So, like what's the craziest thing that's happened to you on and off the mat? Like, do people recognize you, fan related, crazy matches, anything weird or crazy ever happened to you?
Or somebody pulling some like weird, move or something like that, like, Matrix type of thing, or something that you just went like, what?
Oh, okay. I mean, I cartwheeled,
Okay.
cartwheels, or it's a good one. I had 10 stitches before, I got bleeding in the eyebrow, and I got stitches right here.
Okay.
I started bleeding everywhere.
That's good for the girls right there.
Yeah.
Where did you get that, Jacob?
It's a battle scar. Chicks
That's good.
take the battle scars.
Yeah. All right. And I got our last question. Now, Jacob, this is the most important question that you are ever going to answer, ever, that anyone's ever going to ask you in jiu-jitsu. This is like super important. I need you to really step up on this one.
Be honest.
Okay? And you got to be honest. Do you wash your gi belt?
I did not watch
that. No! Jacob, I liked you up until now.
Why don't you wash your belt? Why?
So
wait, let me answer.
Why don't you wash it?
So you don't wash your belt. Why don't you wash your belt?
Well, no, it's proper to just let it get beat up or just train the mat with it. Because washing the belt kind of gets discolored, or it's just like it wears out. Like it feels like, and it shows time when you don't wash it. It shows that you're really like proving, how much you train.
Okay.
It's got all your good juju in there, right? All your fighting power is in your belt. Why do you wash it?
So I'm sure that you've heard kind of like the history of it is you kind of don't wash out the belt. That's like your I don't know what the word is. Your good mojo.
Your mojo, right?
Your mojo is in there, so you don't wash it.
Your spirit.
You've given of the people that have told us that they don't wash their belt. He's given us the best answer out of anyone that's ever answered it. I like it. It shows what you've gone through. Not the mojo is I'm going to lose my mojo.
Same thing.
You ask your coach. Did anybody ever instruct you not to do it, or is it just kind of one of those things like, yeah, you're not supposed to? You heard it in the gym.
Like,
let me kind of say it this way, because the old school, from the old country, from Brazil, those old time jiu-jitsu guys, it's you don't wash the belt because your mojo is in the belt. You would be washing away the skill, the talent. That's like the old school reason. I don't know if you knew that. So that when we joke about it here, we kind of I wash my belt. I throw it in every couple of trainings. I throw it in with my gi.
You're
no
the
big
only
deal.
one that always says that you're the only one that washes.
I have support on this online, Janet. I have support on this online.
Yeah, well.
But Jacob, you did give the best answer ever to that question. So I that's my favorite.
I think it's
so
pretty
far.
honest, and I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
I give him credit. I like the answer, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to put him on the naughty list. So, Jacob, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you. Thank you for
Of
being
course, thank
patient.
you. Thank you for having me.
No worries, no worries. I know it was a little, took a few minutes to get us going and for you to hear us. I hope that went okay for you on that end. But again, we
Yeah.
appreciate you. We're going to let you go. We're going to talk about you now after we hang up. But you're very talented, man. We hope to see more from you.
Thank you.
Please let us know what's going on. Again, when you're in Florida, but tag us in your post if you want us to announce something. We'd love to, give you some support from this end. But keep on doing what you're doing, man. Keep on spreading the word.
Yeah, we look forward to meeting you when you get here. You have a place to stay and crash and everything. We got you here.
Andres has a really comfortable couch.
Yeah,
Tell your
exactly.
dad.
Good luck tomorrow.
Good luck tomorrow. Exactly.
All right, brother. Take care, man. Bye. Tell your parents we said goodbye. Bye,
Yes.
Joe. Bye,
Thanks for
Marva.
everything.
Bye,
Take
friends.
care.
Take care, guys. Thank you so much.
You
Thank
got
you.
it, guys.
Bye.
Take care now. Bye bye. All right, man.
That was pretty
Talented
good.
kid, man. That
Yeah.
kid is very freaking talented.
Yeah, those videos of him are absolutely crazy. He is just all over the place.
Yeah.
And just so talented.
For anybody that
Like a little
That-
monkey just.
yeah, man. If for anyone that doesn't know who he is, go check him out. Just go on Instagram, go on Facebook, hit that power button on that monitor there. We can turn that guy off. For anybody that doesn't know who he is, or this was your first introduction into him, to Jacob, you're going to see really big things from
Yeah.
this kid. I mean, he is amazing. Again, I've seen him from probably, for the last maybe 3 or 4 years at least that I followed him. And I mean, it's always at the top of the podium. He's everywhere. And I mean, just watch him fight. I mean, he's,
And
he fights like a beast.
I had a chance to watch a lot of his videos on his YouTube channel, and you can definitely see that there is a progression in his skill set and his ability to move, and the level of maturity that he has
In his
as
jiu-jitsu.
he moves and as he controls his opponents and everything. When he was young, like every kid, like everyone starts, really crazy moving in really crazy ways and everything, but it was always very skillfully executed. But as time has gone by, and as you see the videos, as he gets older, you see him getting like sharper and sharper and sharper. It's like it's homing in into that skill so much
When I
more.
see kids fight like him, I almost call it controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Like he is all over his opponents. I mean, it's
And they have like no room. They're like it's like having a mosquito nest on you, literally. Like, you have no room or anywhere. I'm fearful of ever having to spar with him one day, because that he would just destroy me. But
I'm definitely impressed with that kid, and again, I hope that he comes down this way. So let's we're not going to end the show just yet. We appreciate Jacob again. Thanks to Jacob for coming on. Let's do a little bit of some of our housekeeping, but we're gonna get into some questions for you as well, and we've got some other listener questions to touch on. So everybody, don't forget about our Patreon page. So we, if everybody, I think this might be the first time you're seeing the picture live.
I've seen it
This
before.
was,
It's beautiful.
Diane Portwood
Yeah.
donated this picture here, this piece of artwork that she created. It's amazing. We were giving that away on our Patreon to one of our supporters. And
When are we doing
basically,
that?
right. I've let him know. I let the winner know because I also wanted to let him know that I was going to be announcing, and that I wanted to leave it in the studio for a couple, since we got it, and then we went on hiatus for the holidays, and I was getting married. So let's start with patreon.com
Busy
/
fella.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Holidays,
Yeah.
wedding.
Life, wedding, getting in the life
Hiatus.
of life. Jeez.
So again, let me start over. Patreon.com / Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. You can join, support the show for as little as $5 a month. And if you're a patron on Patreon.com, on our page, you automatically get entered to win at least $100 worth of Jiu-Jitsu swag every single month. That was the giveaway for December. This month we're going to do another $100 gift card to the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast store. So for every $5 you spend, it's like getting one entry, like one raffle entry. So you could do 5, 10, 15, 25, and so on. All right. So James Fisher, who is one of our first podcast patrons. He's won this wonderful painting.
Cool.
Right,
This
James.
painting just again is done by Diane Portwood. She was on our last episode, episode 11. It is called "What a Shame You Lost the Brain You Never Had." It's amazing. This is a print. There is a probably, I would say maybe 5 or 6 times. The original is about 5 or 6 times this size. The one here in the studio. That's maybe 18 by 18, 16 by 18, something like that. So it's going to go to James Fisher. Hopefully, I think he said at some point that if he won that, he'd hang it in the gym. So very cool. So again, thank you, James, for being a supporter. Thank you to all of our patrons, including CJ Carroll, Mission 22, Chuck Red Door out in Hawaii, who's our meme guy.
What's
right?
up, Chuck?
I haven't seen a meme in a while, but we also haven't been posting much since we've been away. Damien Soto, he won November's raffle, and we had bumped it up to $200. $200 worth of swag from the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies store.
right.
So very cool.
Guys, are you sending in pictures of your swag that you're getting?
Yes,
Yeah,
they're
Alright.
tagging us on. They're
Yeah.
tagging us on
Alright.
Instagram, and I'm reposting. They're adding it to our stories.
Keep
Their
doing it.
stories we're reposting. So, we appreciate you guys. Thank you. Keep on doing that, definitely. And I didn't talk to you guys about this yet, but the little tear to my eye when I got this. I was getting ready for the show today, just looking at some of the questions that get submitted. And we all remember Gemma, right? Gemma Goff, Larry and Gemma. Larry is Gemma's dad, and I've been communicating with him on Facebook. And you get I get messages so many different ways. I handle all the social media, so I get Instagram and again stories, and now it's the Facebook page, but Facebook message, and then an instant inbox. It's just crazy. But I just saw a video from Gemma this morning, and she said, "Congratulations on getting married." It was so
Gemma.
adorable. Thank you, Gemma. It meant so much to me. I'm going to tear up now. It was so adorable. I'm a little sad that I needed to see it before, but it was adorable. I'll show it to you guys later. I don't have it queued up. It's kind of like in my Facebook messages. But she said congratulations and something along the lines of your beautiful bride, something like that. So yeah, it was adorable. Thank you, Gemma. And not only because of that, Gemma, but I appreciate that so much. I'm going to send your dad a $50 coupon code or a gift card to the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast store, jiujitsudummies.shop. So just really want to thank you. Next time you send me a video, I want to see you in a rash guard. So so we appreciate you. Thank you again for your support. Thank you for tagging us to all the podcast patrons. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's revisit the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Foundation. We've been gone, so we haven't talked about it. You can check out the foundation on Instagram at the JJD Foundation, on Twitter at the JJ. It's JJ Dummies. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. At the JJ Dummies FDN. All right, and you can check out the GoFundMe page, which we post in the description on the podcast and the description of the YouTube video. So please support. The foundation is going to be doing scholarships this year for first responders, children in need, military veterans, and we want to pay for their school for an entire year, right? Somebody who's deserving. So as we continue to collect money, we're actually Bo's going to have our video finished, right, Bo? We're going to have the video finished, hopefully before this airs. We were supposed to have it done. A lot of things happened. The holiday came. So we're going to get that out hopefully before this airs. And it's a really cool video starring me, Junior. We had Flo and Demetrius from the gym. They were all part of it.
That's awesome.
So really cool. So again, the purpose of the foundation is going to be to find people that are deserving that we can help out. Maybe they've just done a good deed, or maybe they need a little extra help, and we don't want them to stop going jiu-jitsu when they're going through a tough time, right? We want them to go to jiu-jitsu more. We all know how it helps us.
Just keep showing up. Exactly.
So back to our sponsors. Huge shout out to Fight Back CBD. Sent me an awesome rash guard. Janet, you want to grab that rash guard? Very cool. They worked with Immortal Choke.
Small, Justin.
If
Small.
any,
Thank you.
and purple, right? They're ranked
small,
rash
Justin.
guards. So check out the back. If anybody knows Immortal Choke, go to @Immortal Choke on Instagram. This guy, I don't know him. He just does these amazing little
Yeah.
cartoon drawings that are pokes fun of us, jiu-jitsu practitioners as a whole, and they're great. And so you have a whole bunch of the ones he's done on the arms and on the back, and even you really can't see it unless you see it in the light. But in the black, you've got kind of the silhouettes of some of the
Those are
drawings that he's
funny,
done.
too.
Those are
They
really cool.
are hilarious. I repost them all the time.
Yeah.
If you just go to at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies on Instagram, you'll see that I repost them. They're usually pink or like a light blue. You'll see the little cartoons. They're hilarious. They're amazing. That is my new favorite rash guard. Go to fightbackcbd.com. If you order anything, use coupon code JJD for 15% off your order. Okay. Bare Bones, excuse me, I said Bare Bones last time. It's bareboneusa.com and Barebone USA on Instagram. Go check them out. Get 10% off of their recovery gel with code JJD. I've used this stuff. I've used it on my hands, my neck, my back. Always works. It's awesome.
Smells good.
Yeah.
Not too overpowering or anything.
I can use this at work where I never been able to use like the sprays
Sure.
or kind of the stuff that's really pungent. I'm in an office; they have no clue what jiu-jitsu is. Well, they do now because I'm always talking about it, but they don't get the injuries, and it's just weird. I'm the weird old guy putting stuff on me, so this allows me. It actually smells really good, so I'm not worried about people.
It puts the
smelling-
lotion on the skin at work.
Yeah, very strange of me, like rubbing my neck with lotion, but
Oh, that's nice.
so, love the sound effects, guys. So as always, check out the Jiu-Jitsu Dummy podcast store. We still have the old banner up, so you see Choke Responsibly here on the banner. It is now jiu-jitsudummies.shop, not .com, but .shop. .com will take you to our website. You can still find the shop through that link. Get 10% off with Dummies Pod 12. Okay, with code DummiesPod12, you can get 10% off anything on the store, and you get free shipping if you order anything. If your order's over $50, you get free shipping on the order as well. Okay. Last but not least, so talking about Choke Responsibly real quick, and I'm just going to tease it a little bit. We have a really cool meeting with a tournament organization that we're not going to mention just yet, but we're going to go see them next Friday in Miami.
Okay.
And we're going to have a talk with the guys that run the show. And hopefully the next time you see this banner, or maybe in the next couple of episodes, we're going to have a really nice logo next to ours. And we'll, have a nice little partnership
It's
going.
exciting news.
So things are getting,
Hopefully.
look, yeah, man, it's been awesome. This has been a weird and very fun and crazy ride.
Yeah.
And it's just getting started.
Yeah. I've, it's kind of funny because I get a lot of emails, and just recently, hey, how are you picking your? I think when I announced that Jacob was going to be on the show, people were like, "Oh, that's cool. How the hell did you find out about that kid?" And people are like, "Hey, how are you?" And I just started answering that question, and I'm getting like, complete bios from students about their coaches, which I just think is awesome. And people are excited to like, hey, talk to my coach. I know Roberto Santiago, who's a listener, has sent me like, hey, you got to come see my, come talk to my coach. And I'm just getting that more and more, which is really awesome. We started out with people that we knew. It was, first, it's been this jiu-jitsu roundtable, and
Felipe.
Felipe was Felipe.
Drew.
Andres was really kind of our first guest, who was kind of a fill-in because Junior wasn't there.
Yeah.
So happy to have you back. I appreciate you, man. You helped us get this started with episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, I
and
think
you're
so.
always welcome back, man. Just we gotta. There's always a round robin going,
Cool.
so we'd love to have you again.
Love to be back.
We're gonna hit you with some questions in a little bit too.
All right.
But yeah, it started with Andres, then Philippe.
Drew.
Mauricio wasn't there at the first one. Then Mauricio came on. Drew. He introduced us to Diane. So that's kind of the way it's been happening. When I'm answering that question, I'm like, people I see online,
Word of
I
mouth.
approach them,
It's-
or
It
the
just
last
happens.
guest mentions the next
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
that's been really cool. So I know that we're gonna have, we're gonna get some bigger and bigger names, but I don't want to get away from our roots of just talking to cool people that are doing what we do, that are just, it's great to get the inspiration from somebody that's been around, but I love talking to people like Diane. Not that she's not amazing, but we wouldn't have probably approached her if it wasn't that that Drew mentioned, dropped her name to me
Sure.
after he was on the show. I think like people come on, they're like, wow, this is really cool. These guys got their shit together with this for the most part, right? They're like, wow, mics and cameras and oh my, right? And so it's been really cool. So I think we've impressed people, and they feel very comfortable with recommending their friends, training partners, coaches. So keep on doing that, guys. IG is the best. That's the one I probably pay the most attention to, that has the most activity. So shoot me some messages, tag us. Let's just kind of keep it going.
Yeah, I think how you connect with people in different ways is how you find the most unusual people to meet, and to find people who do different things or they practice in different ways, and having the variety and just all the different kinds of people doing it in a different way is a good way to explain, and to show people that there's not just one way to do jiu-jitsu, or there's not one way to practice the art. There's all kinds of ways.
Yeah, and without, again, I don't like to mention names until we get commitments, but you came in and you said, hey, so and so wanted to be on the show, or you mentioned it, and she would do it, and I had heard her podcast, so I'd love for her to come on. We'll talk a little bit about it after the show, but absolutely, I'd love to have her on episode 13. 13 has to be just so you guys know, has to be special.
Okay.
Because
it's 13.
13. There's some anniversaries involved with me and my wife that are all 13, and her birthday's on May 13th. So Bo's telling me move the mic closer. I don't know why I moved it away. So that's a special. So I'm just kind of saying we've got to make that one count.
Okay.
So I don't want to bore everybody. Listen, one honorable mention. The guys over at Power X Core, they sent us some. You see the Power Shield on the table here. I love this stuff. I was using kind of wipes, like Equate, like the Walmart wipes after the gym, and I had them in my bag, and I'd wipe my face and my arms, and now I'm using this spray. It's awesome. Makes me feel super comfortable. Look, if you've listened to any of the podcasts, I had a heart attack, and when I'm talking to you guys about it, what'd you ask me before? Am I a germaphobe? It's not that I'm a germaphobe. It's that right. I don't like getting sick.
Yeah.
I'm limited to the medications I can take. I have to be careful with decongestants and stuff that's going to affect my blood pressure. So
that makes sense. Yeah,
I really, really try to take care of myself as it relates to germs. It is not about, the whole washing your belt thing is really just about me trying to stay healthy.
And it really doesn't matter. I mean, you're in an environment where you're almost literally exchanging body fluids with other people as you're rolling on the floor and everything. So, nobody is completely clean. So, let's just dispel that myth completely. So when you come off the mat, man, you have the sweat from all the people you roll with, and you really do have to stay, healthy and clean. And that's one way to do it.
Jacob's answer to that question is it's one of the reasons why I asked that. Like, give me a reason why you don't. That makes sense. Not like, no, you're just not supposed to. It bothers me. I know that you guys don't wash it. I know there's a reason. I liked his answer. I can deal with that. No, because I think it shows where I've been. Not the whole like, no, it's not dirty. You're not going to get sick from it. I don't believe in that. I know Janet's looking at me like I'm crazy again. But
No. I know there's a lot of gunk on there. Well, not mine right now because it's still new. I know, but like you said, the more you wash it, the more faded it's going to be.
And I will say this because I remember
that you've been working. I get it. I like that answer. That was good.
I will say this, that when we started having this conversation about the whole, washing your belt and whatever, you guys know my I don't know for whatever reason. I mean, I've had my black belt for a little over 2 years now. And for whatever reason, it looks like it's 30 years old. It's so destroyed because I sweat a lot. So I think that's the main reason. It's not really that I'm training 8 or 9 hours a day. I don't at all. It's just that I guess I sweat so much, and the sweat just gets into it, and
you just sweat a lot.
It does. I mean, that's the only explanation.
I've had your sweat drip in my
exactly. Eye. So yeah, thank you.
Yes.
And so that's Janet. I remember that. And so one day I said, you know what? I gave the belt, and this is something I wanted to tell you about that. I gave the belt to my wife, and I said, honey, can you smell this? How she normally does, does this smell dirty? I'm like, oh my God, no, it doesn't smell dirty at all. I gave it to her, and I said, honey, does this smell this? Does this smell? And she took it. She's like, what is this? I'm like, well, it's my belt, honey. I'm like, I wish I hadn't had to explain that to her, but I had to. So she took it. She smelled it. She's like, no, it doesn't smell like anything. And I said, aha. So it's not dirty, right? And she's like, well, it doesn't smell dirty. It doesn't mean that it's not dirty. It just
Yeah.
doesn't smell dirty. And I said, well, I haven't washed it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wash it. Okay. I'm
Okay.
going to put it in the what is it called?
Washing machine.
The washing machine, but the soft cycle, whatever for
Delicates.
delicates. Exactly. Thank you. And I washed it, came out.
Take it down to the rocks down
out.
by the river.
Beat it
And
in.
it looked 40 years older. It looked so bad that I had to go buy a new one
Really?
because it looked bad. I mean, when I put it on, here's the thing, and it's not like I really care all that much about what people say or whatever, but I put my belt and it really looks like it was Helio's belt. I mean, it is so bad.
Easy.
It's
No,
I mean torn up. I don't
Yeah, no, I
torn
get
up. It's like falling apart literally, and it's like it just doesn't look right. So I ended up having to get a new one, and it happened right after I washed it. So I may have washed it the wrong way. I may have done I don't know what I could have done, but in any case, I'm not washing my belt again.
So that I get. Look, the black belt is the one that you'll have
For a
for
while.
the longest period of time. And listen, I guess when I
Hopefully.
didn't really know or really have that much of an attachment to the actual belt and didn't understand like the respect that I should give getting this belt from my coach. I mean, actually, like when I got my blue belt, he was like, "Hey, this is the blue belt I'm gonna get you," and he had bought a very specific brand. I think it was the brand was Dom, DOM. I think they're still around. It's very thick and it kind of just it stays on really well for whatever. So I asked him about his belt. He's like, "Yeah, he pointed me over to the Dom website and I bought a blue belt, and so I have the one that he gave me, and then I had the one that I wore for most of my my
Blue belt life.
my blue belt life." Yeah, I think I actually went. That's the one that when I moved to fight sports, that's the one that I had. And it was always darker than everybody else. It stood out, and I was happy when I went to purple to have the same purple belt as that everyone else had
Oh,
because
I
it
see.
stood out. Like, well, do you go here?
Yeah.
you don't. You
didn't
don't
get that
go
blue belt.
here.
That's not the belt you got here.
Yeah, but like our blue belts, me and Flo's, Namie Jason's, is different color than what they just gave out too.
Yeah. Okay.
So our blues are a little bit
So-
different.
One
Well,
thing,
you
and
don't
then
have
I'm
to care
gonna.
about that because you're never going to wear that again.
Well,
We're talking about.
Right.
Let me
You're
jump
right,
back
but
in
I'm
here,
just
guys. I also got the triple threat. I haven't used it yet. I feel bad. I told you I'm going to send you a video when I throw all my gis in the wash, and I hadn't used it because when I went to go use it, you need the fabric softener cup. And we bought a new stackable. It's a very small space here in the townhouse, so it didn't. The new one we have doesn't have that cup, so I had to get the Downy ball. So I just finally got the Downy ball. So now I'm gonna do a little video. I wanted to give them a shout out. I appreciate them so much for even sending me this stuff. They reached out before I sent them anything and said, "Hey, we're gonna send you some more stuff." So much respect to those guys. But the triple threat is for the wash. So
That's to wash your gi.
Normal, just you're washing your equipment or any gym equipment.
Your rash guards,
everything,
leggings,
anything,
whatever.
Yeah, anything that's gonna get that smell. That gets you wear it for a while.
Yeah.
I haven't used it. I'm gonna say I've been using the spray. Freaking love it. I'm gonna use the triple threat on my next load of gis and rash guards. I haven't been training a lot, so they've just been stacking. I'm like, I'm not washing them till I get this damn Downy ball, and I did, and I'm gonna do. Yeah,
They're just
that's
sitting in
bad.
a corner.
I always dry them. They always hang to dry. I dry them. If I'm not putting them in the wash that night, I dry them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them Janet. I'm gonna get you. So I just stacked up like 5 or 6 gis from
Do
the
you
last
put it in the
trainings.
dryer? Do you put
I do.
I can't because they
I
shrink
can't
too
either.
much.
Right, mine end up like this short. Yeah,
Here,
I
I
air
lose
dry
them here in the shoulders and the chest.
I don't like
can't-
to air dry it because it feels more stiff.
Yeah, they feel like they can stand up on their own. But you know what I do too is when I finish washing them, I hang them, and then I spray vinegar, white vinegar, all over the
Just
gis.
spray
For the
it.
smell.
Just spray it. And
I was told to put vinegar right into the wash.
I've been told that too,
but
but I haven't tried that. What I do is
Tried
after I wash it and I hang it, I spray vinegar, and I don't know. To me, it seems like they smell more. They smell fresher, and they just
no
feel
wonder
like
every time I roll with you, I feel like having a salad.
yeah.
I get a little hungry.
So let's. This wasn't on our. We didn't say that we were going to talk about this, but congratulations again. You got
Yes.
your purple belt.
Aw,
Purple
thanks.
belt.
We kind of rushed that before. How does it feel? It's
I enjoy my purple belt, not gonna lie, but I would have been just
What
as
do you mean?
good to keep it with my blue.
Yeah. When you say you enjoy your purple, what do you mean?
I like
Just
purple.
you
It's
like-
fine. It's a nice, crisp,
It's her-
clean belt.
It's her new
not-
favorite color.
No, blue will always be
That-
my favorite color. But I do like my purple one. I mean, it's pretty, whatever. I feel like people expect a little bit more out of it now, and I'm not there because it's still new.
It's Janet. You gave the ultimate female girly girl answer.
It's so
I love it.
pretty and sparkly and bright.
I'm just gonna jump from purple to black because I don't like brown. Okay.
You ever watch? Have you?
No Dookie Brown for it. We're gonna
No
have to come
poopy-
up with another
no
name
poopy
for it.
brown.
My biggest pet peeve is when anyone of any sex, but most of the time girls, when you're watching like a football game and they're like, "Who do you like?" and they're like, "Oh, I like the
Seahawks because I like the light green.
I like the color.
Like
you
that.
gave that answer. I love my purple belt.
Which is the red team? I like that color.
Congratulations. Do you feel any different?
No, other than like I said, people expect a little bit more out of because especially not so much in our school because we all know where we are in our each other's games. You go somewhere else and they're like purple belt and you're like, no, calm down. I just got
here.
I'm just a really stale blue belt. Calm down.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No degrees. But speaking for like belts, my white belt was the cheapest white belt. Doesn't even have the black area on there for degrees. It's just a strip.
It just
Yeah.
strip.
But I treat that thing like it was any other belt. I have it hanging in my closet because that was still my effort. My blue belt is now right next to it. Yeah.
I want
And
to.
there's
You just start
something
piling them
about-
up. Yeah.
And there's something about black belts, not always. I'm just in general, I'm just kind of saying here that whenever you see a black belt that's neat, not so much thinking, oh, they must be new, they just have it, but it looks so like professional, looks so crisp and clean versus ones that they've had for a while that is turning a little bit back to the gray color and
Yeah.
everything. And you're like, man, that is a well-loved belt. But there's always something about a crisp, clean.
So I
If
kind of see,
anything, you know?
I feel like I've seen like even Cyborg. Sometimes I see him with like I feel like sometimes they have one that's like very like they'll have one that's for if they're gonna go do a promotion or do a
Like for
ceremony.
show.
Yeah, like they keep one like that, and then they have the one that they roll in. I kind of feel like that because I'm like, wait a minute, I saw his belt the other day. It was falling apart, and then there's like the bright red tip
Right.
is there. You're like, okay, yeah.
But
that's a
then
different
also
belt.
there's different ones for competitors. You have to keep that
Okay.
in mind. So
Yeah.
that they probably, as far as black belts, like you said, is the belt you're going to keep the longest. They have multiple, probably for different reasons.
For different
Well,
reasons.
now what's the deal with when it's black with the white tip? When it's a full white tip now, is it supposed to be that they're supposed to wear that for competition?
No,
You know
you don't
anything?
have to put degrees if you're competing. It just has to be black.
But have you
If it
seen that
has-
black belt with just instead of the red stripe? The red stripe usually means you're also an instructor. Like
If
No.
you
Yeah,
have the
black
2
belt and
degrees
the
on
black
either
belt-
side, you're an instructor.
okay,
It's the white stripe.
but even Sophia, I saw Sophia in one of her last competitions. She has a black belt with it's a full. There's
Just
no
the
red.
white.
I thought it was my understanding that there was a new requirement that they don't wear their belt with the stripes at black once it's black belt.
It's
No.
just you just need the black belt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry guys,
To
I don't
compete.
I don't,
Yeah, I haven't
I'm not sure
competed in
about
a
that,
very
but
long
yeah,
time, so.
I the only thing I'm sure of is for teaching. You wear the white stripes. That's
Okay.
kind of what
Okay.
On either end.
on either end, or I think both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah, on both
stripes
ends.
on either end, and then you have
then
their
stripes are in
actual
the middle.
degrees
And then-
on
yeah.
the inside.
And
Not confusing at all.
right,
For somebody
exactly.
who doesn't know, right?
And what I was gonna say too is that the black belt, like a newer black belt or a black belt that looks nice and clean, looks really good on a white gi. It doesn't look so good on a nasty yellow old gi like mine. So you put it on, it's like, what is that? That looks weird. That looks a little bizarre.
So you need
And-
a new gi? Is that what you
Oh
said?
yeah, my gis are ancient too, so I gotta change those too. But yeah,
All right, so we've talked enough about our stinky geese.
yep.
So all right, let's get into. I think we got time for a couple of listener questions, and then we'll round out with now that we know the answer to Washington. I mean, it just kind of ruins the whole all my questions now. But let's
4.
let's start with Timmy Donahue.
Number 4.
Haven't heard that in a while. I miss it. Timmy Donahue says,
Hi.
"Hi, love the show. I'm a 3-stripe. It says I'm a 3rd stripe white.
Okay, good.
Okay, so white belt, 3 stripes. Practicing just shy of 2 years. All right. Hello, Timmy. We are. What are the things you think someone in my position should know to be deserving of a blue belt? Okay, we're kind of talking about promotions. So it's there are multiple questions here. So, but they all relate. So, what are the things that we think that he should know to be deserving of a blue belt? What things should I work on during my push for the blue belt? I always refer to my coach first, but I'm curious of y'all opinion as well. That was again Tim from Concord BJJ in Brentwood, New Hampshire. So anybody want to take the first part of that? What do you think he should? I have my opinion on that, but what are the things that he should know to get his blue belt?
Well, I think he's right that talking to your professor is the most important thing. Make sure that you have an open dialogue with him to understand what he sees are your weaknesses, what are your strengths, and you can work your training to enhance that. That way, it's a smart, targeted training to make sure that you are maximizing your practice time. But in general, in my opinion, as a white belt, your job is to survive. It literally is that.
Yeah.
Is to be able to. You're not going to be doing, or you, in my opinion, of course, you shouldn't be trying to focus on finishes, on any type of attacks or anything like that. My opinion is that you should be focusing on trying to maintain a posture that is defensive, that can prevent you or protect you from other people attacking you, and basically tap the least amount as possible. Tap out as little as possible. Of course, you tap out when it's necessary, but when your skill level improves, you'll see that less people are able to get you in the same attacks that they were able to get you before.
Okay.
If that's what's happening, then you're moving forward. You're actually progressing. If you see that that they attack you in one form and they keep getting you in each and every time, then you may want to think about what you're doing wrong to help you be more defensive and be able to escape those moves more efficiently. But in my opinion, it's just simply be able to survive.
Janet?
I agree. I
Okay.
totally agree with that.
So, what things should I work on during my push for blue belt? So, why don't you take that part of that? So, there's 3 parts to this question. What things should I work on during my push for blue belt? So,
Well, it's kind of the same answer.
Yeah,
You need
yeah.
to talk to your professors because each school is a little bit different in what their requirement is for the next belt. And it's not so much what you can and can't, should or shouldn't work on. It's more what they're looking for in you
Yeah.
while you fight. And even if they said you need to work more on ABC, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean to forget XYZ.
Yeah.
It's all around.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's lower belts, white belt, into blue belt, it's all defense.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was until mid blue belt that you start somewhat your offense and kind of figuring out, oh, I like this. I like to do that. Because there's so, for so long as my blue belt, I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know what my game is.
Yeah.
And like you said, mostly it's just
But you
defending
should
myself.
you should feel that's the right feeling. You should be having that feeling at that. You're,
Yeah.
you're learning.
Yeah,
you're
but-
feeling your way. It's like
Right.
learning to walk.
Yeah, unless you come from another martial art such as judo, or you've done wrestling, or done some kind of a other type of grappling art, you're literally just learning how to use your body on the floor, and so it really, I don't think anyone would expect you to be trying fancy moves or attacks or any of that kind, because you don't know how to move your body on the floor. You don't know how to escape your hips correctly. You don't know how to protect your neck and how to protect your arms in an efficient way. That's the purpose of the white and borderline blue belts, is to be able to get your body in a position where those movements, the escaping the hip, that they're protecting your neck, they're protecting your body in that sense, become automatic and become second nature. And
So-
once, sorry,
So if I can, so along with the lines of what Janet was saying, so right, you got people that are looking to compete and people that are doing it for self defense. So we don't necessarily know what Timmy's doing, right? So,
Right.
but first, are you competing? Are you doing this for self defense and exercise? Is this for you?
Hobby?
Or is this are you a hobbyist? And then okay, that's one whole set of questions and individual answers, and then it's your school, your curriculum.
yeah.
I started with a school that didn't really have a curriculum. He actually, and I talk about the Jiu-Jitsu University book a lot. that's where the first time I saw it, he was going through the book and saying, "This is what I'm going to teach today." He was a new black belt.
kind of a
I think I
random
learned. It was more random. We did advanced moves. We started with our basics, but then did like really advanced moves that white belts really wouldn't learn anywhere else. So then you get into the school you're going to, a Gracie gym and a 10th Planet gym. The curriculum is completely different.
Yes,
I think that's why people Rogan has his belt under Eddie
10th
Bravo,
Planet.
his black belt, but he also has his belt under
Machado, right?
under Machado. So going into it knowing, wow, this is a completely different version of jiu-jitsu. So what are you doing it for? And your curriculum, stick to that. Just know that that's like the beauty of going to other gyms though and training with other people.
Right.
Like, don't sleep on that part of it, because that's when you go, oh, I'm not learning that. And look at Jacob just said they're doing, he got stabbed by an ankle lock. I was kind of surprised. Like, most gyms are staying away from that.
Well, and don't think that you're not
age.
progressing in your own game at your own gym, because they know exactly what you know.
Yeah.
And so they're going
Right.
to be able to block better versus, like you said, you go to another school, you're learning different things, and what doesn't work at your school might work 100% at another
Yes.
school, just because that's not what they're used to,
Yep.
which again is the beauty of being able to go to different schools and training.
I remember that plateauing question that you answered, right? We were a couple episodes back. Somebody asked about, I feel like I'm plateauing. Yeah, you may be plateauing in your gym, but go up against somebody who doesn't know the things you know, and you're going to dominate. Or you might get dominated by a whole set of things that they know
That
and
you
moves
had
that
no
they know
idea
that you,
were
like,
even
didn't
possible.
know existed.
Yes,
But it's
versus-
good to be aware of it
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
It's good to go to other schools.
And I think as you mentioned, since we don't know exactly what your ultimate goals are, it would be ideal for you to obviously identify what those are, and then have a conversation again with your coach to find out what it is that you want to accomplish as you move on to blue belt. Again,
great point.
the most important thing, it's silly to say, but regardless of how you feel, regardless of how the day was, you just show up. You
Yeah.
show up, you practice.
You're gonna
You
learn.
you had a really crappy day that day, or you had a great day. The best way to finish it is with a good roll. And if you're
Yeah.
going to be competing, then obviously, if you're going to be competing, then yeah, there may be some specific strategies that your professor may want you to focus on. So focus on those. Make sure that you're laser focused on those. Do them over and over and over again, and he or she will be really the best person to tell you how you can progress, because ultimately he or she will be the person to give you the belt.
I've talked about. Go ahead.
I was going to say, kind of like Felipe tells the kids at the school, everybody can learn jujitsu. Your pace is you. That doesn't make you any better, any worse. It just might be a
Everybody
little bit
learns
longer, whatever.
differently.
But as far as like Timmy, in my opinion, it is what it is. Kind of if you progress fast, if you don't, whatever, wherever you are is perfect for you. And don't rely so much on that belt. Don't be so worried about getting that blue belt. Just, you're going to get it when you're deserving for it, whether you think you are or not, which we do know some people who seem to think that they're deserving of belts. And you're kind of looking at them like,
No.
not quite.
We're not going to mention any names. I always talk about my first gym, because I started jiu-jitsu in my 40s, and when I told my coach, who was at the same age and who had competed in his up till I think Brown, pretty much his whole career, he had wrestled. He was in law enforcement. I mean, he stuck with it and took some time off, but he competed right through his Brown. When I told him that I wanted to do my first tour, I wanted to do a tournament, the training completely changed. I did not ever train the same way again. Talking about, again, learning random moves to, oh, wait a minute, we've got to learn takedown, side control, mount.
It becomes a little
take
bit
the
more
back,
basic.
the point systems.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to do that, this is the game. These are the rules of the game, and this is how you get points. Not just choking out, again, from a law enforcement perspective or a street fight. The jiu-jitsu was just completely different. And in that school, we did MMA, we did Muay Thai, and then mixed them together with MMA. So they were very specific classes. So we were training a different way. And Tuesdays and Thursdays we did stand up. First hour was Muay Thai. Second hour was put it all together and let's take down and do some ground and pound. So it was. The training completely changed in our Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, which was straight gi jiu-jitsu, gi and no gi jiu-jitsu. And it completely changed.
Yeah.
So you have to, make those decisions on what you want. And then that roadmap is still going to be different for everybody based on the gym, the coaches, the curriculum, the system you're in, a
Your
10th plan.
game.
When your goal is to compete, then you have a whole set of strategies that you have to follow to be able to win. Because obviously, when you enter a tournament, your objective is to win. That's what it is. If it's your first time competing, then it may not be necessarily the expectation that you have, but you have to have a mindset to say, I'm going to win, and I need to follow a strategy. I need to follow a step-by-step process to follow, so I know what to do, and I don't freeze. Because what happens is that when people start competing, or when they start trying to go into competitions without really planning things, they kind of freeze, and they may have great moves, they may have great posture and whatnot, but it's the lights and the stage and all the people watching. It kind of does that to people. And I'll be the first to tell you, I hate competition in that sense, because I don't like the whole stress about it. I don't like getting ready for it. I'm lazy.
Anxiety.
I don't like the anxiety and all that. So I don't particularly enjoy it, but some people love it. And you're only really going to be able to learn whether you like it or not by doing it. And hopefully, you'll be able to figure out what your strategy is, and move forward and progress with that.
Okay, so we're going to jump in. I did have one other listener question that I think we're going to push to the next show, because we kind of just talked about it a little bit. The questions were somewhat similar, so I don't want to beat a dead horse here. But Andres, you're back from episode 2. You joined us here for episode 12, and we want to get you on record with our 4 closing questions, our speed round.
Okay.
Same questions we asked Jacob earlier, and we've all answered these. I've had some variations of them, but they're basically, these are evolving. So we'll start with number 1. If you could go back in time, what would you tell the white belt you? I mean, the moment before you're stepping on the mat for the first time to train, what would you tell yourself?
In the gym, learn Portuguese.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Seriously, it is.
I know they're talking about us.
I know. I'm telling you, it's, and I still have that as one of my goals, is to learn it, or to at least kind of understand it. I speak Spanish. People say that, oh, you speak Spanish, Portuguese, they're the same thing. Believe me, they're not. They kind of sound similar, and if you read it, it kind of looks the same. But when Felipe is talking, or when Professor Cyber is talking, I can't understand a thing they say when they're talking. Especially when they're talking to somebody else in Portuguese and they're going full out. Forget it.
That's my problem with Spanish, is I can understand my mom.
Yeah.
She speaks at a pace that I can understand, and I've heard her speak Spanish. She speaks English fluently, but she spoke to us a lot in Spanish. But when other people speak and speak fast, I'm just like, I have no clue what you're saying. I mean, I'm like,
okay.
See? So, all right, that's a great answer. Again, one of the better answers on that. That's really good.
I love, though, that it seems like for most people, myself included, it's always calm down.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been the next one for me too. But I remember when I started. Well, it's kind of weird, because when I started Jiu-Jitsu was back in '93, and I started Jiu-Jitsu with my roommate, watching UFC 1 or 2, watching the Gracies, and moving the couch on the carpet and saying, "Wait, how does he do? Okay, let's go." And then I literally passed out when my roommate like choked me, and then I woke up and he's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't know what happened. Let's do it again." And so that was my first time doing grappling or something like that, whatever.
So something.
Yeah, and then when I started actually training, for real, with Felipe and Sofia, that
You've
was
been with them
2007.
from the beginning, right? I mean, it's not too often. Well, I think you trained someplace else for just a short period of time, but most of your career has been at Fight Sports.
I did a month at Pablo Popovich a long time ago, and they probably don't even have my records or anything like that. And I was only there a month, and then we decided to move. So that I counted, because it was
that whole
intense,
month.
and I saw Pablo, and it was unbelievable. It was just crazy. But then we moved, and then when I came back, I found Felipe and Sofia, and I joined that gym. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing about being relaxed, it's really underrated. I mean, people say that all the time, and people are like, yeah, you just relax. so
I think it
important.
takes you probably. I mean, you're just getting the purple, but I'm training just like I think a year more than you. I'm feel really comfortable with that statement now. Like very calm when I roll. I'm very calm, and you get that from understanding that okay, this isn't gonna. I know what's gonna hurt me, what's not gonna hurt me. I know how to protect myself, and I know what to do if somebody gets me into a bad position.
And,
So I'm really in a place where I can really be calm, and like that's all gone
Panic.
for me.
and going back
and
to
that's
the question we had from I'm sorry, what's his name?
But maybe that's because at this point you've learned how to defend yourself
Exactly.
better,
Yeah.
and you have a better offensive game versus like as a white belt where you feel like all you're doing is defending. It makes sense that you're constantly in a panic and that you're not calm, but still, we're not. Nobody's out there to
No.
hurt you intentionally and seriously choke you out. And if you are at that school, you might be at the wrong
Yeah.
one.
So
And
let's get.
I was-
Let's get. This is
sorry.
supposed to be a
Yeah.
speed round, so
Okay,
we've got to be careful we don't go too long. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
no, no. Go
So
ahead.
okay, so because we might answer some of these other questions, what you're going to say might answer some of these other ones. So, what is your ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu other than achieving the rank of black belt, which you did about 2 years ago? What's your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal, seriously, is to turn 97 years old and still be able to go to the gym and roll to whatever extent that means, but be able to continue moving and progressing in the art of jiu-jitsu because it's
Okay.
every day I realize that there's something I need to learn, that it's something I suck at, I need to get better. By the time I'm 97, hopefully there's a little bit less of those things, but there'll always be more.
I just saw one of those posts today. Again, prepping for the show, going on Facebook, and I've seen it before. It's a new version of the same meme, but the more I train, the more I realize that I don't know anything. It's like,
oh, it's so
and
true.
and that's really like I can remember at white belt thinking I'm a badass. I'm good at this. This is yeah.
It's crazy. It's
And-
like
and then-
the more you know,
yeah.
the more you don't know. You
Then,
realize
yeah.
you don't know.
And then, really, when I went from one school to another, because I was one of the first students at my first school, so it's just me and my coach. So I always knew more than everybody else behind me. So I'm beating up other white belts, and then I went over to this school where there were high level people, and I'm like, oh,
So this is how it feels.
Yeah,
Is that an ego check?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is like, oh, this is what it's like. First of all, you start in a school a little uncomfortable. You don't know anybody's game. You guys all know what you've learned. Different curriculum again. I had some of my little tricks. I mean, we were doing wrist locks from day one. So not every school. Okay, stay away from the wrist locks until you understand control a little bit more. But definitely understood. Being at the bottom of that.
You think that's why you're supposed to be humble? Like stay humble?
Well,
There's
that's
always-
exactly why. Yeah, because there's always
Yeah, there's always
for
gonna
every
be
level.
there's
Right? Coach
always
says
going to be
for every
someone
level,
better.
There's another level.
Yeah, there's always another level. There's always someone who's going to be better. And to me, the biggest thing isn't necessarily because there's someone better. It's because when, in my experience, the way I feel is that when you realize how little you know about everything that you're trying to progress, you notice that you're a speck in this universe, and there is nothing for you to be proud of.
Right.
Nothing. You are this speck insignificant that will fade away in just a couple of years. And you know what? It's okay. Because it means that there's nothing so bad that you can't do.
Okay.
And there's nothing so good that you'll do. So you just move on with your life. You do what you can. You do your best. Hopefully you leave the world
Hopefully
a
you
little
don't
better.
break your finger.
Hopefully I don't break any more fingers.
So that goes to our next question. So I don't know if that's going to be your craziest thing, but
Oh no, this is
what's the craziest jiu-jitsu related thing that's happened to you on or off the mat?
Okay, well, when I first started,
That finger looks pretty bad.
well,
But,
okay,
again.
so I'll explain what the finger is in just a few minutes. But the craziest thing, I think, in my opinion, was we were rolling at a gym once, and we were explaining it to a gentleman that this is grappling. It's not supposed to be a striking sport. It's supposed to be just rolling and moving body joints and everything. It's about that. And he's like, okay, yeah, I know what to do. I know what to do. And the moment we started, we set up on the mat, he immediately went for a knee bar. Not a knee bar, excuse me. He went a knee my face, exactly. He jumped and did a, what's it called? The kickboxing knee. and he kneed me on the face and knocked me right out.
A flying knee,
A
bit?
flying
Like a
knee.
flying knee? Okay.
Yeah, flying knee. And when I woke up, I was covered with blood. I was on the floor. I was like, okay, I don't know what happened. And they were literally escorting him out. Like he was fighting to stay in the mat, and they were escorting him out. So I don't know if the guy was on some kind of weird drug or whatever. But thankfully, we
This
never
is
saw
at
him
a
again.
jiu-jitsu gym?
This was it was like a club. It was like
Okay.
a university club.
Okay.
And so we were just a few friends doing jiu-jitsu. It was supposed to be jiu-jitsu only and grappling, but nothing else, no striking, nothing.
Yeah, he
and
didn't
he
know
just
this.
came in like, "Oh yeah,
Nope.
I've done grappling before. I want to join the gym." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So this is what we do, blah blah blah. Boom. And I'm on the floor. my friend is just like, "Are you okay?"
That is that is one of the crazier answers
That's-
we've gotten,
yeah.
and that's why. Look, call it what you will. That's one of the reasons why I like to see when there's a new person in the gym. I definitely don't like being the first
first
guy
one.
that they
Yeah.
roll with, and if they're bigger, I am usually the first guy they roll with. Like just putting people together. I'm usually one of those first guys. So, don't love that. Only because I just want to understand what they know. Again, I'm not there. I'm not going to fight in the UFC. I can hold my own. I know what I know, and I feel comfortable. I just don't want to get hurt.
Right.
Again, I'm 46 years old. A broken finger right now means I'm going to be out for a long time. And then again, drugs that I don't want to take, painkillers that I don't want to take,
Yeah.
things that I probably should be taking that I can't take because of my heart meds. And that again, that's one of the reasons why I'm like very careful with people. And if that new guy, like I'll almost always pull guard. Again, that's a different situation that you're in, but with anybody new, I let them attack first. Let me see what they got. Let me see what they got, how hard they roll, because even if they tap me out on this one, I know
You
where my level
understanding.
needs to be.
Yep.
And in that
Makes sense.
pulling of the guard, I can usually I can dictate the pace.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if they try to go hard, I can, get them in that lockdown, and now I'm dictating the pace. So,
Makes sense. Yep.
all right. So we've answered
Number 3.
number 4.
Number 4. You know my answer.
Do you wash your belt? So, so you told us what happened with your black belt, but did you normally wash your belt before?
No.
Don't touch that. Don't you hit that. Don't you press that button. Don't you press that button, Janet.
No.
Did you wash your belt in your career? Did you normally wash your belt, or it was always just something you hung dry?
I think I might have accidentally put the white belt with my gi at one point. I think I put my blue belt with my wife put the blue belt with my gi once, and my gis were now blue, but accidentally. It was never an intentional thing.
So if you didn't wash, why didn't you wash it? I think that's an important part of this question.
I wish I could give you a really cool and smart and sophisticated philosophical answer, but the truth is, it just never
Didn't know any
dawned on
better?
me.
Yeah?
No, it wasn't that I didn't know any better. It's just that it's like I don't wash my belt. I have a leather belt. I don't put it in the wash. I just
You don't Clorox wipe it every
Yeah.
once
I don't do that. I
Don't make fun
do
of
that.
me,
You
Janet.
don't want to spray it with anything.
Janet.
So it never really
Okay.
occurred to me. It was never an issue.
I want to
Never
let
even
you
crossed
know.
my mind.
I think
I am a clean person, though. I am.
Again,
I
for
am.
me, again, I go back to it's more about trying to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sick. I work in an environment where there's 90 people, and as soon as somebody gets the flu, it wipes out the
Everybody.
whole office. So I'm just trying to be careful more than anything. We've turned it into it's become a little bit of a thing here, and lots of people say different things. Now we've had really bad luck with I've had bad luck of getting anybody on Team Wash Your Belt on the show, but I get tons of most people are calling each other stinky and saying wash it, duh. I mean, it's a piece of cloth that gets sweaty. You'd wash your underwear, right?
If you didn't have, your personal experience of the situation, I don't think this would be such a big deal.
No, it just became a joke with
Exactly.
me and Junior. That's actually turned into something. It's one of I follow obviously follow tons of pages online, but the Jiu-Jitsu. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Jiu-Jitsu. I'm part of that Facebook group, and it comes up a lot. That comes up a ton, and it's not because of us.
Has
It
he
just comes
answered
up
it?
a ton.
Because I know he answers a lot of questions.
He answers. He jumps in occasionally, but there's just so much going on in that group. I mean, that group is 10,000 plus. It jumped up to like 14, but then it got, like I think they got rid of a lot of the people that troll and
Yeah.
were being nasty and saying stupid shit. So they brought it's just probably it came back down to the to probably like 10, 11, something like that. Maybe it's more. But there's just a lot going on there. People, you comment, and it's like people are all over it in a good way. But that's one of the ongoing jokes.
One of the
I think is one of the more popular things, and maybe it's more because people wind up tagging me in it, or like reposting it and then tagging us in the repost, not just the conversation. So it's become a thing. I do think it's funny. I do think that you should be.
If I ever pull my belt out of my bag and think, "Holy hell, that stinks," I promise I will wash it.
Oh no!
I will wash it.
Yay,
It
damn
feels
it.
like gonna make me gag. I'll wash it.
Well,
That's exactly why I gave it to my wife. I said, "Does it smell?" And when she said, "No, it doesn't smell," I'm like, "Okay, so it can't possibly be that bad."
but that doesn't mean that does not mean there are not germs inside that.
No,
But-
but
we're gonna-
everything has germs.
Exactly. But I understand Milton's perspective. I mean, from a situation where he has to be more aware of and more
Oh,
careful than
I understand
other
that.
people.
I understand that. But if you're the only one washing it,
I'm telling you, I've got supporters
you're being clean
online.
for everybody else, but
I've
they're
got
not really helping
I've
you.
got supporters online. I'm going to make sure they
Gotcha.
come out of the woodwork. So listen, we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate you coming out again with
My
your
pleasure.
broken finger. Thank you, Janet, as
Thank you.
always. Little shout out to Nuwaza Apparel. I did buy this shirt, but I freaking love their stuff. It's behind the monitor, but they're the guys that have the In Jiu-Jitsu We Trust. You guys have seen me with the shirts on. I have a new shorts, new no-gi. Love it. Huge. Like, these shirts last forever. I sell shirts, and I'm saying these guys have awesome shirts. So Nuwaza Apparel, go check them out online. Go to their website. Let them know we sent you. They had some really cool stuff that I bought to take onto the
Cool.
onto the cruise with me. But
I'm sure she loves
I
that.
wasn't allowed
Yeah.
to wear any more jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
say.
jeez.
quick
Are you
side.
serious?
I bought jiu-jitsu cufflinks that I was just going to wear that day, and just, yeah, they were like really like this little wood. Sorry, I keep on hitting my mic. But it came off, it broke. But I had said that I was going to get cufflinks, and she went and got me like these really nice
Really?
custom. They said like, I love you forever and everything on it. It was so mine broke anyway. So I was going to wear hers after she gave them to me for Christmas. But I did have them. I did have the jiu-jitsu.
I gotta
cufflinks
ask
that
you
I got rid of.
something
Sure.
because I remember you saying once that somehow or another you were gonna wear your purple belt. Did that happen?
Oh,
No. Well, did you see the cake topper?
I
should
did.
have bought the cake
That
topper.
was
in.
cute.
Oh, yeah.
So I asked her. I said, "Look, I wanted to incorporate
that.
jiu-jitsu. Had to incorporate jiu-jitsu somehow. That was where it was. The only reason that I didn't do it was because my belt looked kind of ratty, and it just,
you mean you didn't wash it?
It's because you did
no,
wash it.
didn't
Well,
wash it?
yeah. I
You
mean,
did
it's
wash
well,
it.
I've had it for over 2 years, so I didn't
wah,
want to. It just kind of looked, and I.
Wash.
She would have preferred that I didn't, but we both wrote our own vows, and I was like, I'm not going to say anything about jiu-jitsu in my vows. I'm going to keep it out. And at the end of my vows, I was like, you see, I didn't bring up jiu-jitsu even once. But wait, she read her vows first. She brought up jiu-jitsu. She's like basically like putting up with my jiu-jitsu. It was beautiful. It was well said.
Yeah.
It was funny, but she brought it up. So then when I got to mine, I'm like, I didn't bring it up. She brought up jiu-jitsu, but I actually had written it in there that I was like so proud of myself that I didn't work it into my vows, but I did. So it was pretty awesome. So all right, guys, listen again. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you guys for coming out. Our listeners and the people watching on YouTube, we appreciate you. Jacob the Bull. Thank
luck
you.
tomorrow.
That was
Good luck
awesome.
tomorrow.
He's actually
Well.
they've been messaging me on Instagram that I haven't been able to answer them, but they've been messaging me like, great show, thank you for the interview. So I got to answer them. Thank you to Power X Core, Fight Pack CBD, Barebone Recovery Gel. Sorry with the uhs. But thank you to everybody supporting the show. Keep on supporting us. Go to Patreon. Please get involved. It helps us stay on the air, and you guys can win some really cool stuff. So, and keep on sending us your questions.
Keep training, keep showing up.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys. Wrap it up. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
All right.